All right, we are ready to get started for this morning's program. Good morning again. Thank you everyone for your patience. My name is Stephanie Johnson-Burek, and I am the recruiter for the Doña County Detention Center. At this time, if you all could please rise for the posting of the colors, the presentation of the cadets, and remain standing for the invocation. Thank you.
Cadets, post. Cadets, left and right step, march. Cover. Cadets, forward, march.
I would like to now invite Chaplain David Beam to deliver this morning's invocation.
Good morning. It's a privilege to be here this morning, and besides myself, I also bring greetings from Chaplain Bill Stickles, who couldn't be here this morning. But we're the first here to give congratulations to the new graduating class, and I know all the training they've been through. And this morning we want to hold them up in prayer. St. Paul said that we need to pray for those in authority, that there might be peace. And we want to pray for them and all the authorities. And this morning, let us pray together. Oh God, our Heavenly Father, the maximum authority above all things, we recognize who you are, the creator and the sustainer of all things. And we know that we should pray for those that govern, for those that are in authority. We want to pray for these cadets who soon will be officers, as they'll be working in the detention center, that you would give them wisdom, you give them safety and strength, and bless their families also, as many times it's a very difficult job. We also want to remember the other authorities in our land, for the president and the cabinet, the Senate, the Congress, for our state government, and for our local county government and city government, for Captain Hoosier, for all the other captains and lieutenants and sergeants and officers and personnel at the detention center, that you would watch over them. And we recognize our need of your wisdom and your direction, because our own ability is so frail, so short. So we ask you today to watch over these new officers and all of those that are at the detention center and their families. And we're grateful to you for your love that you've shown us through the great gift of your Son. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Please be seated. Cadets, please be seated. I'd like to welcome our special guest, Judge Madrid, Commissioner Garrett, Chaplain, Captain Hoosier, and our other captains. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize another special guest in our audience today, and that is our K-9 officer, Dallas, our giant schnauzer. So hopefully all of you will be able to get the opportunity to meet him. Next in this morning's program, I'm going to introduce our first guest speaker, our acting director, Captain Vicki Hoosier. Captain Hoosier was born and raised in Alamogordo, New Mexico. She worked in the jail for the Otero County Sheriff's Office before moving to Las Cruces in 1990 to continue studying electrical engineering at NMSU. In 1992, she began her employment with the Doña County Detention Center. Throughout her 25-year career, she has worked in every aspect of both the adult and juvenile facilities, and is currently serving as the interim detention center director. Captain Hoosier realized early on in her career the importance of safe and humane treatment of inmates and detainees. She embraces honesty and integrity and applies those core values to her everyday work and interactions with those she comes into contact with. She believes in the jail motto, good faith, good intentions, and encourages all staff to work hard in an honest and ethical manner to ensure the safety and the security of all the detainees, inmates, staff, and the public served. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our acting director, Vicki Hoosier.
Good morning. We're here today to witness the graduation and transformation of these men and women from cadet to officer. And first of all, I would like to welcome and thank the Honorable Samantha Madrid for administering our oath of office and oath of honor this morning. I'd also like to welcome and thank District 1 Doña County Commissioner Billy Garrett for being here and for taking the time for joining us. And it means so very much to have our special guests present. I'd also like to thank the following staff for their contribution in our training academy and for the continuing support given to the detention center throughout the years to meet our goals. I'd like to thank our training department, Lieutenant Salcido, Lieutenant Cordova, Lieutenant DePace, Sergeants Paredes and Puente. Thank you for the hard work you do every time we graduate a class. Thank you to Stephanie, our recruiter, who works very hard to get these people in here. Andy, who is our background investigator. I'd also like to thank our HR department, Sandra Bali, the hard work that she puts in. Our administrative staff, Sandra Munoz and Mercy Garibay, and the hard work that they do getting the payroll out. Sandra is a big part of our graduation and getting our cards ready to go and our certificates. We appreciate them very much. And I also like to thank our command staff, Captain Baker, Captain Mendoza, Captain Fleming, our lieutenants and our sergeants. Without you every day in and out working the way you do, the detention center wouldn't be running the way it is. Some more of our support staff is Horizon Healthcare. Thank you so much for everything that you do for our detainees. We really appreciate you, Jason and Brandy. Brandy, you don't have to talk today. That's okay. You don't have to give a speech. Brandy hates public speaking. But we thank you for everything that you do. I'd also like to thank the family members for being here today and for sharing your loved one with us. Families play a huge role and an impact on our staff on a daily basis. It's important for the families to understand that this job can be very difficult at times. We have the potential to have a lot of stress and deal with some very difficult individuals and situations on a daily basis. Having an understanding family to go home to means everything to our staff. We thank you and appreciate you for your support and for sharing your loved one with us. And in thinking about that, I asked myself, what is a family? Because we consider ourselves at the detention center a family. But what does that really mean? I looked it up, and definitions of family range from a group of persons related by descent or marriage, and I thought, well, that's not us. Or all the members of a household living under one roof. Well, that's not really us either. Another one said, a locally independent organized crime unit operating within a geographical area. And I thought, thank goodness that's not us. And then finally, the word family can be defined as individuals having common experiences and activities, shared values, beliefs, and working towards and achieving the same goal. And I thought, that's what the detention center is. We have common experiences that no one else can understand. We have shared values and beliefs, which are our standard operating procedures and county policies. And we are all working towards the same goal of maintaining the safety and security of the inmates, officers, and the public. Families are a foundation of society. When families break down, the effects impact not only our own lives, but also our communities. Imagine if the detention center employees had no way or no one to express how their day went and the situations that they witnessed. Imagine if our employees did not have our standing operating procedures and policies to follow. Think about the chaos that would ensue if we had no principles or guidelines. Think about how unsafe the detention center would be for both staff and inmates. Think about the disruption if that were the case, and how would that impact the city of Las Cruces and the surrounding areas. But because we are a family, we hold our members to the standards our detention center was built around and the moral and ethical operating procedures we are required to follow on a daily basis. We are a family, and now you will be part of that family forever. Even though the detention center employs over 200 employees, and even though the shift schedules sometimes don't allow everyone to see each other all the time, or sometimes never at all, we are still a family. We are all reaching for that same goal, which is to strive to give the best care to our detainee population and to make it a safe and secure place for everyone involved. To do that, it takes each and every one of us doing our part. 8 weeks ago, 12 individuals walked into our training room to begin their academy. They learned our motto, good faith, good intentions. They heard us talk again and again about honesty and integrity. We harped on being firm and fair and consistent with the inmates. We talked about morals and ethics, policies and procedures. We tased them, we sprayed them with OC, and we put them through a rigorous PT program. Every single one of them took what we had to offer with enthusiasm and excitement. Some of it with pain and agony, but all of it with pride, knowing they learned it and learned it well. 17 years ago, my father had a heart attack while driving home and hit a railroad trestle head-on. He was thrown into the steering wheel and up towards the windshield. Luckily, hitting the steering wheel with such great force restarted his heart. However, his internal injuries were massive, and he had to be flown to Albuquerque to the heart hospital to repair his aorta. He sustained traumatic head trauma and went through 3 major surgeries within a 24-hour period. And he spent many, many months in rehab recuperating from his horrible accident. During the entire time, my dad's philosophy was simple. Just stick with the program and do what the doctor said. Today, my dad is 90 years old, and we are so blessed to have him still. And I'm so glad that he stuck with the program and be here with us no matter what it took. These cadets are ready to take on their newly assigned posts, and now the real trials and true tests begin. These cadets truly showed their heart, and we're proud to welcome them to our family and for sticking to the program no matter what it took. My advice for you cadets is to think safety first. We want you and all other officers on your shift and those in the facility to go home at the end of each day. Be alert, pay attention. Follow your policies and procedures because they were written for a reason. Everyone makes mistakes. It's how you learn from your mistakes that is the true lesson. Treat the detainee population in a firm, fair, consistent, and most importantly, honest way. Remember that detainees are humans. They make mistakes, and not all of them are guilty. If you are unsure or have a question, ask your supervisors. You have well over 100 years or more of combined experience amongst your supervisors. So utilize that experience to your advantage and learn from them. If you don't have the answer for the detainee, let them know you don't have the answer. And if you tell him you're going to get back with him, get back with him and be true and honest to your word. You will be more respected as an officer and a person by just being honest with people and treating them in a fair and just manner. Have fun. Be professional, but realize that having fun and enjoying your job is very important as well. And last, but most certainly not least, be proud of your profession. This is not just a job that just anyone can do. It takes a very special person to be able to work in our environment day in and day out. Other than the prisons themselves, nowhere else are you going to find a job that places you in close quarters and in daily contact with society's worst felons. You will even have more contact than the officers on the street, who may only deal with them a few short hours upon arrest. So be proud of what you do and the service that you provide to your community. Thank you for joining our team. Thank you for being a part of our family. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain Huser. And I was remiss in stating the fact that she has led us well as interim director. Our next speaker is Commissioner Billy Garrett. Billy G. Garrett was elected to represent District 1 on November 2nd, 2010. He was reelected in November of 2014, and he will serve throughout December of 2018. District 1 includes all of the communities in the South Valley between Vado and Mesilla Park, as well as downtown Las Cruces, Mesilla, and Picacho Hills. Commissioner Garrett brings extensive experience with large-scale government operations to the commission. He understands the importance of budget, formulation, planning, and infrastructure development, and is dedicated to making Doña County the best possible place to live for all residents. Among Commissioner Garrett's top priorities are efficient delivery of county services, public involvement in decision-making, and program accountability. He is committed to intergovernmental coordination and comprehensive planning to support local communities faced with limited resources and rapid growth. A third-generation New Mexican, Commissioner Garrett grew up in Las Cruces and graduated from Las Cruces High School. After attending New Mexico State and Arizona State universities, he pursued a career in architecture and organizational management. He and his wife, Cynthia, live in Mesilla. Both retired from the National Park Service in 2009. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it is my pleasure to welcome and introduce Commissioner Billy Garrett.
Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, Judge Madrid, Acting Director Hoosier, Detention Center officers, graduates of the Detention Center training program, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to be here today and to have a few moments to address you. My comments are in some ways going to reflect things that Acting Director Hoosier has already said. They're going to be messages that you've heard in your training program. I'm repeating these not simply because you need to hear it again and again and again, but I want you to understand that as one of the elected officials who's ultimately responsible for everything that goes on in county government, that I share these concerns and I share these values. I didn't have a lot of experience dealing with detention in the course of my career. I did work with law enforcement a good deal as a senior national park manager, but detention was something new to me. And I can say that I've been involved in inspections of the detention center. I've met with people having to do with accreditation, certification of the detention center. I've been concerned with recruitment and making sure that you're fairly paid and that you're properly equipped and that the facility is the way that it needs to be. That's part of my job. So I'm
speaking to you from that perspective. So if I say any of these things again, just remember it's coming from a slightly different source. I, again, appreciate the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. I want to start by addressing friends and family members of the graduates. Thank you, of course, for being here. I'm sure these men and women are happy that you're here to share their celebration. They've just completed a tough training program, and they have good reason to feel a sense of relief and pride in their accomplishments. So should you. All of you, in your own ways, have provided them with much needed encouragement and support. This is a special day for you as well as for them. These individuals are going into tough and sometimes dangerous jobs. The county has provided them with the best training and equipment that we have. They are ready to work in detention. Much of their work is going to be routine. And then suddenly there will be situations involving tension and violence, mental illness, and despair. These situations will take an emotional toll. Your quiet understanding and love will help balance out those days. So I say thank you for all that you have done and all that you are going to do in the months and years ahead. For those of you who are already officers and staff at the detention center, I want to thank you as well. You know what the oath of honor means on a day-to-day basis. Living up to that code keeps you strong, maintains the integrity of the organization, and will serve as a positive example for the new officers. You know that in some situations, all that stands between a good outcome and a bad outcome is your training and adherence to the oath of honor. Some of you have been involved in the training program for this graduating class. The lessons you've passed on have helped prepare them for the work ahead. Your continued advice and the examples you set every day may be even more important. Thank you for all that you've done and for what you will continue to do in the months and years ahead. Finally, to the members of the graduating class on this, your special day, thank you. You have accepted the challenge of entering into public service. You will shortly be taking an oath of honor. By taking that oath, each of you will make a commitment to conduct yourselves in a responsible way. Every moment of every day, month after month, year after year. I'm sure that every one of you here today is looking at your future with the best of intentions. I'm sure that every one of you wants to be a good detention officer. So why, you might ask, is this oath important? The fact is that none of us are perfect, and you don't know how you're going to respond to the challenges of working in detention, especially over a long time period. 1 out of every 9 officers in our detention center is injured on the job every year. Being assaulted by a detainee is the most likely cause of injury. Maintaining a high level of physical fitness, eating properly, getting the rest that you need are essential to minimizing potential injuries. So all this training you've been doing, you got to keep doing it. Tension between officers and those being held in detention is normal. How you respond to that tension is very, very important. The unthinkable happens in detention centers. In Cibola County, officers watched an inmate slowly die from a ruptured blood vessel in his abdomen. I'm sure they didn't know what was going on. but they didn't do what they needed to do, and he bled to death. The pending lawsuit could bankrupt that county. In recent years, Bernalillo and Otero counties have been hit by a number of major lawsuits involving officers sexually assaulting detainees. It happens. Not in our detention center. And if you maintain the oath of honor, it will never happen in our detention center. Since 2013, Doña County has settled 90 claims covered under our law enforcement insurance policy. 38 of those claims in that 4-year time period were associated with the detention center. The total cost to county taxpayers was exactly $6,923,350.41, nearly $7 million. Most of the costs in those cases involved Stephen Slevin, whose mental illness got him into trouble on a relatively minor offense and then trapped him in the detention center without adequate care for several years. This is more than 10 years ago. What happened to Mr. Slevin was a failure of policy and procedures as well as dereliction of duty. That's been the determination by the courts. Our detention center is much better now than it was during the Slevin years, but there are still breakdowns. My point here is that we deal with hundreds, thousands of cases successfully at the detention center all the time. And that goodwill and that reputation can go away in a heartbeat. I provide you with this information to underscore the point that your training, daily preparation for duty, and active engagement with policies and procedures is critical to your personal success, the lives of those you hold in custody, and the county as a whole. You are smart and brave, or you wouldn't be here. If you allow yourselves to learn from your experience, your knowledge will evolve into wisdom, and your bravery into a deep-seated courage. Wisdom and courage are important qualities that are necessary if you are to live up to your oath of honor. But there's one more essential quality. Every one of you must have a deep-seated sense of compassion. Tempting as it may be to think of a detainee as a number or a case or a problem, especially in the most extreme of situations. And I think it's important to underscore that Acting Director Hoosier reminds us that sometimes the worst felons are in detention centers. Not all, and there's some that are in there that are not guilty of anything. But your challenge, regardless, is to remember that everyone there is a person. They may be dangerous, weird, frustrating, or trying to be invisible, but every single one of them is a human being. If you keep that connection with their humanity, you will keep your humanity as well. Wisdom, compassion, and courage. These three words represent the qualities that underpin your oath of honor. They're my gift to you today. I hope that they may provide you with some inspiration as you pursue your career in public service. On behalf of all the employees of Doña County, I congratulate you on your graduation and wish you all the best in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you again, Commissioner Garrett, and thank you for your continued support of our facility. So thank you. And we're going to have some fun now. I'm sure many of you are aware of the very lengthy hiring process we have for our officers. There are hundreds of applicants that undertake this hiring process, and there's several steps of it: the psych, the physical, medical, the background. So much is involved. And out of those hundreds of applicants, you are looking at the ones who made it through successfully through the hiring process. So they thought the hiring process was challenging in itself. They had no idea until they got to the academy. So at this time, I'd like to invite Sergeant Paredes up to the podium to show us a glimpse in the life of a cadet.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Sergeant Paredes. I'm pretty much the one that kind of harassed them, beat them up, sent them home with jello legs, whatever else I could do to torture them a little bit. Put together a video to kind of just show you guys what they've had to deal with. Feel free to laugh, clap, whatever you guys like during this. Thank you.
Prestige worldwide, wide. Prestige worldwide.
I'm gonna fight 'em all. A seven-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my
They're the in crowd, we're the other ones. It's a different kind of cloth that we're cut from. We let our colors show where the numbers ain't. We're the paint where there ain't supposed to be paint. That's who we are. That's how we roll. The outsiders. The outsider.
Our women get hot and our leather gets stained when we saddle up and ride 'em in the pouring rain. We're the junkyard dogs, we're the alley cats, keep the wind at our front and the hell at our back. That's who we are. We do our talking, walk that walk, wide open rockin'. That's how we roll. Back to the wall, a band of brothers together along the outsiders. We're the riders, we're the ones burning rubber off our tires. Yeah, we're the fighters, the all-nighters, the
We're the
yeah, the players gonna play and the haters gonna hate, and the regulators born to regulate. When it hits the fan and it all goes
Back away, back away. Good job.
That's what I've been sprayed with. I've been sprayed with this. I've been sprayed with this yet.
Oh, this.
To the left, to the left, to the left.
There you go. Sit down. Watch your throat.
Wipe off, wipe off. Good job.
You need soap, sir.
Come in one more time, come in one more time.
Good job, cadets. Good job, Baderas. I should make mention that poor Sergeant Lopez, his eyes were still red hours. At the end of the day, he came to my office, whereas the cadets were fine. Sergeant Lopez was still recovering. So, yeah. He went last? Okay. All right, now for the moment that we've all been waiting for, the oath that will be administered by Judge Madrid. The Honorable Judge Samantha Madrid was born in Las Cruces, New Mexico, to one of the founding families of the Mesilla Valley. She obtained her bachelor's degree and law degree from the University of New Mexico. Currently, she is using her education to serve the people of Doña County as a magistrate judge. Prior to her service as a Doña County magistrate judge, she served as an attorney in both prosecution and defense work. She also has experience as a private practice attorney, running her own business and braving the difficulties of small enterprise. Judge Madrid came from humble means and obtained her first job when she was just 14 years old. She worked very hard her entire life to pay for and obtain her education. Prior to being an attorney, she also served as a high school teacher in the inner city, where she served a student population that was 80% Title I. Her diverse experience and dedication to those less fortunate and her ability to overcome poverty herself has made her a strong advocate for others and a fair and impartial judge to the community of Doña. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Judge Samantha Madrid.
I'll just make this short, but I always like to thank the families that are here, because these guys end up in my court every day and they protect me and the community, and they're on the front line every day taking care of us. And, you know, unfortunately, it seems like the only time that we're on the news is when there's a mistake, but all the amazing, brave, noble choices they make every day, well, those are never on the news. So I hope that all of you know how much this community appreciates the choice they've made and the diligence and the hard work it's taken to get here, and that we're here to honor them for that and to truly thank you guys for the sacrifice you're making, okay? All right, would you guys please stand up? I swear on my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the laws, policies and procedures of my community, county, and state that I serve. Congratulations.
All right. Have a seat, new officers. Let's give them another round. I'm going to do an ad lib here. As we approach Veterans Day, and as I do my recruiting, I always look for veterans who have served our country and those individuals who are in the Guard or Reserve. And at this time, those officers who have served our country and are still serving in either the Guard or Reserve, will you please stand up? Let's give them. And those in our audience who have served our country or are serving in the Guard or Reserve, would you please stand up and be recognized and acknowledged for your service? Thank you for your service. You may be seated, new officers, and thank you again, everyone, for your service. At this time, I would like to invite Lieutenant Ruben Salcido. I tell you what, I hope by Friday I'm a little bit better with my mouth and my brain, maybe not. So thank you, everyone, for bearing with me. At this time, it's because you guys jinx me, Lieutenant Salcido, please come up to the podium before I say something else.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming out today. Again, I'd like to thank the family for being here, supporting everybody. I'd like to thank Jason in the background. I don't know why he's waving at me, but I'll thank him anyways. Just threw a wave at me. Shout out to him. Thanks for their support, your support, supporting them through this academy. It was pretty tough. I'm pretty sure they went home. They were tired. They probably didn't want to eat. That's probably a lie. They probably did eat. But they're probably exhausted, and we put them through a lot. We put them through the ringer. They learned a lot about themselves. Taser, OC, Control Force, they were nervous about a lot of things. I told them it's only going to burn for a little while. It's only going to shock you for 5 seconds. That's it. They're good. They made it through. You guys, right? You're good? Better people today? Kind of. They made it. All right. Anyways, so you guys saw from the video, good video, by the way, Sergeant Barreras, good job putting that together. I would also like to thank everybody that helped us out, Lieutenant DePace, the staff from the floor, everybody that helped us in the academy. We can't do it by ourselves. It's a lot of work. So we bring up a lot of people to help us out. Brandy in the back helps us out tremendously, training our staff all the time. And this honor guard here, they did a very good job today. They dedicate a lot of their time. They dedicate a lot of their time to practice. It's their own time. They have to come in outside of their shift, so that's good. All right, right now, I'll let you guys know, throughout the academy also, we test these guys. You might have seen them going home and studying, or you might not have seen them studying. It depends. I'm pretty sure some of them did not study, but they made it through anyways. Regardless, we study them, we give them tests, and then we tally up all the scores at the end, and the person with the highest GPA is going to be recognized for his highest GPA in the academy, and that is going to be Officer Bridges. If you could come up, please.
Thank you, Lieutenant Salcido. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the graduation ceremony of Class 3 of 2017. Good morning, Lieutenants. Good morning, Captain, Director Hoosier, Chaplain, Commissioner, and Honorable Judge Madrid. I would like to start out by thanking the training staff of the Doña County Detention Center for all that they have done for us. Over the last several weeks, they were tasked with training us 12 cadets to the New Mexico Detention Officer Standards. Without their dedication, knowledge, and experience, we would not be standing here today as confident and knowledgeable graduates. So once again, thank you, and let's give them a round of applause. As I look back at the past 6 weeks, I instantly remember some of the tough times, such as getting sprayed with pepper spray, being tased, and conducting cell extractions all day in heavy protective gear. Although we endured these tough times, this group of cadets was always able to make those times better, whether through whether it was through joking or just supporting each other. Camaraderie is hard to find sometimes in this day and age, but I know for certain that my fellow graduates will always have my side, will be by my side through the tough times as well as the good times. As we all go out and begin our new adventure, I would like to share a few words of wisdom. Those at the top of the mountain didn't fall there. I encourage you all to always push forward, maintain a positive attitude, and to seek out greatness. Thank you. Sergeant Bettis.
Good job, sir.
The Silverbacks would like to present this plaque to Lieutenant Salcido and Sergeant Bettis. Thank you.
Here's your. All right. At this time, we're going to present the certificates to the new officers. If you guys would like to come up and take pictures, feel free to come up in the middle aisle. Just don't come up too far because they're going to walk through right here in front of you. Sergeant Puente, can you come up, please? All right. Right. Officer Contreras, please come up. Officer Martinez, please come up. Officer Feliz, please come up. Officer Bridges. Officer Peru, please come up. Officer Quintana, come up, please. Officer Ortega, please come up. Officer Macias. Officer Acevedo. Officer Haraki. Officer Apalaca.
Didn't forget, don't worry. Relax.
Officer Roybal. Awas. I'm not gonna say anything. You're good? Hey, cut. Oh. They'll trip you, Roybal. One more time, again, congratulations, guys, officers. They're ready to go, Cap. Lieutenants, they're good to go. They're yours. You guys go out there, hit the floor, make good choices on duty and off duty. That's all I got to say. Make good choices, please. Right now, I would like to turn this over to back to Stephanie. Like to come up, please.
All right, that concludes this morning's celebration. Thank you all so much for being here and for your support. And welcome to our family, new officers. Would everyone please stand for the retiring of the colors? Thank you.
Attention. Forward, march. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Reverse, colors. Keep going. Halt. Color guard. Retire the colors. Forward, march. March. Halt. Eight.
Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you to our special guest. Thank you. And again, new officers, yay!